So, other than Dexstar,
Yeah.
who is your favourite fictional cat?
Salem. The DC universe is home to innumerable godlike beings capable of obliterating entire cities with a well-placed backhand or dropkick. Amusingly, standing amongst this pantheon of near immeasurably powerful characters is a humble house cat called Dexstar.
So, who is Dexstar and why is he so powerful?
He is a house cat who is a member of the Red Lantern Corps. And we'll discuss, what that means in a moment. But as a member of the Red Lantern Corps, he wields a red power ring, an object very matter-of-factly described in, DC canon as one of the singular most powerful objects in the known universe. And he's a cat.
So the Red Lantern rings are some of the most powerful objects in the entire DC universe.
Yes, meaning this cute little kitty cat right here is one of the most powerful beings in existence in a universe where Superman's rocking about. Art comics the best.
So most people will know about the Green Lantern Corps.
Yes.
Thanks to Ryan Reynolds.
Of course, yeah. Good movie that one, mate. Keep it up.
And as far as I'm aware, their power is they summon like constructs made of their will.
Yeah, it's like their power is directly correlated to the amount of willpower they possess. So beings with a particularly strong sense of willpower are theoretically, when wielding a Green Lantern ring, some of the most powerful beings in existence. Obviously, there's the Ryan Reynolds, I think it's Hal Jordan he plays, but my favourites will be Jon Stewart. And every Green Lantern is different because obviously the things you can construct with a lantern ring are limited only by your own imagination, which is why I prefer Jon Stewart because he's got a background as an engineer. And there's a little throwaway line tucked away in one comic that says, Jon Stewart's constructs are the strongest of any lantern because of his background as an engineer, because he builds them from scratch in his mind, and everything down to the nuts and bolts is something he thinks about. And you've got Hal Jordan who makes a big giant fist. And I think that's one of the reasons the Green Lanterns get a lot of shit. You've got the ability to create anything you can imagine, and you make a giant fist.
So is there a limit to what a Green Lantern can make?
Not really, no. It's limited only by their own imagination and their own reserves of willpower. And then I think the rings require recharging every now and again. But the actual source of the power is effectively infinite. So if you had a sufficiently motivated Green Lantern with a fully powered power ring, there is virtually no force in the DC universe that could stand against them. Which makes me think that John Cena will be the strongest Green Lantern ever, because he never gives up the hardest. So with that in mind, Brad, before we move on to Dexstar and the Red Lanterns, who do you think from fiction would make the strongest Green Lantern, based on that description of how their powers work? And to stop the conversation being boring and one by one of us just saying the word Superman, let's discount every other comic character from Marvel and DC and think of somebody else.
I'm thinking Lord Friendzone himself, Jorah Mormont.
Oh man, thing is though, I bet he'd be fucking amazing. Because I recently watched all of Game of Thrones in preparation for season 8, and I realised holy shit, that guy's a fucking badass. He is the id of the character John Cena plays in wrestling, made human.
Yeah, if he's fighting for Daenerys, his willpower will never end.
This is so stupid. I will murder any fucker who gets in my way just for a chance to see my queen. God, man, Ian Glenn, he owns that role so hard. But in a similar vein, I'm going to go for Ulrich von Liechtenstein from A Knight's Tale. Because we see in that film that Heath Ledger is a character, is capable of just sitting there and taking endless lancers to the face, purely so he can get laid. And we know from that film that he's also very creative, another intangible quality Green Lanterns need to possess, because he invents dancing, doesn't he, by accident? It's so good. Oh, man.
I'm going to put another one out
there.
Okay, go. Bit far out.
All right.
Joel from Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh man, why?
He's got so much to stick in that situation and not falter.
So I'm gonna fuck a zombie, I don't give a shit. Then again, I'd fuck a zombie if it looked like Drew Barrymore, man. I don't give a fuck. He puts up with so much shit in that TV show, and he's like, yeah, this is cool, I can do this is fine.
The thing I love about Timothy Olyphant in that role is that his eyes are very, very expressive.
Yeah.
So no matter how much he's smiling, you can see the fear in those eyes.
Every time.
And the fact that he does not want to be in that situation.
Well, I'm going to go for another character called Joel. I'm going to go for Joel from The Last of Us.
Ooh.
Because there is literally a scene in that game where Joel is nearly dead. He is on his deathbed, and he is sat in a little cot with a single sheet over him in the middle of fucking winter after getting stabbed through the stomach. And he sat there and oh no, Ellie's gone missing. And he just stands up and through nothing but sheer willpower, mans his way through and murders every fucker in his way. Because that's my Ellie. You don't take her. Mine. Like, he mans his way through so much stuff in that game. Like, right at the end, it's like, where is it? Where is she? I'm not telling it. And he just shoots like 40 people in the balls. I'm going to be honest, when I played through that last mission, every person who tried to stop me from getting there, every Firefly died by a single shot to the balls. I'm not fucking kidding. The rifle that just like obliterates the testicular region. No, have you got any more?
If we're talking about grizzled men with willpower,
Yeah.
John Winchester from Supernatural, supposedly, when you go to hell there, like each year is meant to last like 30 years.
Okay.
And he's supposedly in there for what's the equivalent of like a few hundred years and getting tortured because if they break his spirit, then they can start the apocalypse. Like if a good man goes to hell and gets broken, and he never gives up. And Dean goes down and breaks after like 40 years. It's like, I think it's 40 years Dean held on for, and John Winchester doesn't give up.
Look at that. Oh man, in this case, we have to say John Cena as well. We're not John Cena, the character he plays on stage. So I think if you get like the cartoonish Superman version of John Cena portrayed in like wrestling matches, that's fucking game over, man. Like, that guy, his motto is never give up. Oh man, can you imagine as well, like with his degree in, like, imagine the kind of shit he'd be able to create with his degree in thugonomics and his minor in thugonometry. It's like, shit's going down. Shit's going down. So out of the people we've mentioned so far, who is your choice for best Green Lantern?
I'm sticking with Jorah.
Right, I'm going to stick with fucking Ulrich von Liechtenstein. What we need to do now is decide what their, like, their main form of attack, what would be their go-to construct. I'm now imagining Heath Ledger's character making like the CGI big dumb green horse and then doing like a Final Fantasy like summon style attack where he's on a giant horse with a lance going through people. That'd be sick as shit. What about you?
Well, I was going to just say for Jorah, like, I mean, I kind of imagine his imagination being to the extent of I would make myself a sword.
Yeah, but a really big one.
But Jorah Mormont, his house has the bear sigil. So I'm thinking huge bear.
He's just going to make giant ass CGI bears to attack everybody.
Bears with dragon wings, because, for his lady.
Yeah, he loves his lady. Yeah. Or he just makes like a CGI dragon to ride around on. So I'm thinking with a sword though, I imagine him doing Lionheart from Final Fantasy VIII, where Squall puts his sword into the air, imbues it with all of his power, and he just like basically puts a sword bigger than the earth down to destroy fucking everything. Oh, that'd be awesome.
I said before about the Warcraft one where they split the world. He could do that, but with a huge green sword.
Then you've got like he's fighting alongside Ulrich von Liechtenstein, riding like a green construct horse. And I'm imagining him looking like Gaia the Fierce Knight. But then they could combine. Because he could be Gaia the Fierce Knight, and then you could have like Jorah's dragon, and that could be Curse the Dragon. Join these 6 Gaia the Fierce Knight on the dragon, and then you could get a catapult turtle. Someone could make that, and they could fire it at the enemy. Parallax will stand a chance.
What are you talking about?
People know, and people getting mad hype, and that's who that was for. Let's go. Let's continue anyway.
So that's how Green Lanterns create their constructs.
Yes.
How do Red Lanterns create constructs?
Well, there's a number of lanterns, all of different colours, and each individual colour corresponds to something called the emotional spectrum, with like each emotion responding to a specific colour, and the colour red is rage. I think there's a throwaway line in one of the comics somewhere that says like Red Lanterns are amongst the most dangerous because rage is just such an all-consuming emotion that to the point where one of the first things you do when a Red Lantern powering takes over your body and deems you worthy is vomit up all of your blood. Yeah, and instead it's replaced by a corrosive like acid-like substance that you can then weaponize by vomiting people's faces. And then another thing it does well is your heart stops working. So if you ever take the Red Lantern powering off, you die. Because you don't, obviously there's no blood left in your body. The only thing, you are literally powered by nothing but your rage. And the side effect of that means that you can't really kill Red Lanterns because obviously they don't need their heart to live. And you can actually remove it from their body without any issue. And they, in effect, can weaponize their own anger as a weapon with which to beat motherfuckers to death.
On a similar vein then, who do you think in fiction, not counting superheroes, would make the best Red Lantern?
John Wick.
John Wick.
Imagine John Wick with like the angriest man in the world. That's what it is. It's basically like, who is the angriest man in fiction? It's John Wick. He's so pissed off in all those movies. And I'd like to imagine as well that his little dog would also get the power ring. And I'd hope it'd be like Dexstar, where it wears the power ring on the tail. Because that's how Dexstar wears it. It's like super cool. Oh man, it's so good. Like as well. I don't think Red Lanterns make constructs all that much. Obviously, they're so angry, they basically become like rage monsters that don't really have any like comprehension beyond attacking and destroying. So they don't really create constructs as much as they just vomit up this blood that just like sprays into people's eyes and kills them instantly. It's crazy.
So a Red Lantern's blood is replaced by some kind of weird acid.
Yeah, rage plasma, as I like to call it.
Does every Lantern have a variation of this kind of thing happen to it?
No, that is an ability entirely unique to Red Lanterns, and they can utilise it like defensively and offensively. And it's noted as being so highly corrosive, it burns even in space, which means that Dexstar the cat can kill people in low orbit by just vomiting on them. Like, furballs have never been so fucking dangerous in that universe, man. It's crazy.
So let's not beat around the bush. How the hell did a house cat become a Red Lantern?
Oh, you mean a creature of pure rage capable of melting Superman's dick off? Well, it's because Dexstar had a hard fucking life. And this impossibly powerful creature, defined by its unrelenting rage, actually started life as a little house cat called Dexter, who was all kinds of adorable.
He's got a little collar on, and he's got his name on the collar. It's like a little shape of a fish.
Yeah, I know, and then his owner died.
His owner dies?
Oh yeah, well remember, Dexstar's in a comic book, so his backstory has got to be tragic. And his is that he's like a stray, or he's in a pound, and he gets adopted by a nice lady who lives on her own, who treats him super nice, and then one evening, criminals break into her home and beat her to death. And Dexter, well, as he's known then, like, being the good cat that he is, defends his master by trying to scratch the face of one of the criminals, who boots him across the room. The next day, obviously, the police turn up, they find the dead body, they assume that, oh no, this must be a stray, and they kick him out of the house. So they leave him without a home, and he wanders around on the streets, like, dejected and alone. And then, because obviously his life's not shit enough, some thugs come up, pick him up, and chuck him in a sack. And then they throw that into a river.
Just to be dicks?
Yeah, just to be dicks, just because obviously, fuck you, you're a cat. And then at that exact moment, Dexter, the little cat, is so consumed with, rage and anger that a passing Red Lantern ring detects it, flies down, and saves his life, and grants him untold destructive capabilities with which to exact his revenge, which he does almost immediately.
I'm going to guess that the thugs who threw him into the river don't fare particularly well after this.
Oh no, Dexter immediately goes and murders them by just tearing out their own skulls and then breathing rage plasma into their eyes. So it's like, fuck you. And then he takes the skulls and sleeps on them. And the thing is, I'm not done yet, because remember how I said Dexstar's backstory is tragic?
Yeah.
Despite having all this power, he still doesn't know who killed his original master, and he's really upset about it. And this is amazing, because in this dumb-ass comic about the backstory of a cat who flies around vomiting its own acidic blood in people's faces, it has a panel of him curled up on some skulls, thinking to himself that I will track down the people who killed my master. This is my mission. This is my sole goal. I'm a good kitty. That is amazing.
That's an amazing backstory for an out-of-there character.
Yeah, and I have put forward, in conversation with friends, that this is the movie I want DC to make. Jokes obviously they're clutching at straws. Make a Dexstar movie. Marvel have shown people will care about dumb-looking characters. Rocket Raccoon is one of the most sympathetic characters in the MCU, because he just looks like a sad ass all the time. Have you seen in the Avengers the Fallen posters where he's just a raccoon? He's just sad, and everyone's getting super upset about the fact this CGI raccoon has no friends. I want a Dexstar movie, because that'd be amazing. Not to mention, his backstory is more tragic than Batman's, because Batman's parents get killed, but what does Batman then go and do? Learn sick ninja moves and live in a giant mansion. What does Dexstar have to do? He has to sleep on skulls while, thinking about the fact he's completely alone in the universe, and despite being one of the most powerful creatures in it now, still can't avenge the death of his owner, because he doesn't know who the fuck did it.
DC has got a current huge rock on for dark, depressing shit. So
this is the one. Get Zack Snyder direct. Imagine some Zack Snyder directed CGI action scenes where it's a cat doing all sorts of cool shit.
And people won't think it's weird when he's falling asleep in a pit of skulls.
It makes perfect sense. This is the perfect movie for Zack Snyder. You can have the main character drowning in a pit of skulls, screaming angrily and murdering everybody, and it'd make sense, because that's literally what the character's all about. Fucking hell, man. Make this movie DC, it'd be amazing.
So we said Green Lantern, our choice. You want Rawlinson?
Yes, because he's got so much willpower and he's got the creativity.
And we said for Red Lantern, John Wick.
Yes. Oh, and I see where this is going. Do you want to do the rest of the Lantern Corps?
Yeah, we need to go through. So I've brought up a list
of all the lanterns.
And I really hope it's an accurate list.
It probably will be, yeah.
Because someone's going to get really salty if it's not. So we'll start with Orange Lanterns.
Okay, and if I recall correctly, their defining emotion is greed, or avarice. And before we get into what character we think would be the one most defined by their greed, we make the perfect Orange Lantern. I'm going to point out you are going to be photoshopping these behind me. So we have all of the lanterns behind me in their colourful outfits.
So what I'll do is I'll bring in a faceless one, and then when we settle, I'll put the face on.
Put the face on, yes, for the audience at home. So a character defined by greed. The one that springs to mind is Gollum.
Gollum.
But I don't think he's very good at fighting, is he?
I mean, he wouldn't need to be. A cat was not initially good at fighting. He gets the ring and becomes awesome.
Yeah, I suppose. And then I think in the comics as well, the Orange Lanterns are amongst the strongest because there's only one ring.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's because they're so greedy.
Well, then Gollum sounds perfect if there's one ring.
Well, the story behind the Orange Lanterns is because they're so greedy, and they're so all consumed by their avarice, they will not share the power the ring has. So it's the only lantern ring capable of powering itself to over I think 80,000% or something like that. It's the only ring that can overcharge. So I think that Gollum is the only choice because it's literally one ring that's super powerful that he's supposed to obsess over. Unless you can think of a character who's more greedy than Gollum.
Well, I mean, my initial thought was Scrooge. He is a character initially defined by his greed.
Yeah, early Scrooge. Yeah. Young Scrooge. What about Scrooge McDuck? Can we make it Scrooge McDuck? Can we settle in the middle and say Scrooge McDuck?
You want to go Scrooge McDuck?
Let's go Scrooge McDuck, because isn't he super, super obsessed? He has the pit of money. Imagine if that pit of money had all the treasures of the world in it. Oh, that's a strong one.
Just to clarify as well, I'm pretty sure there are more than one Orange Lantern rings, but the Orange Lanterns wear more than one.
Yes, they pimp ring it out, don't they? Yeah. Well, that's mean only one person. It's not they can only have one ring. It's only one person can have the power.
Right.
And what they do is they create constructs that basically wear the other rings. It's super dumb, but I love it. So let's go for Scrooge McDuck then. Scrooge McDuck can be the Orange Lantern.
All right.
The creature of pure greed. What's the next one?
So next up, yellow.
So that's the emotion of fear. And if I recall correctly, it's defined nebulously, isn't it? It's you can either be a person who's driven by fear or driven by the desire to cause it in other people. Which means, so I'm going to put out there, Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because he is a creature utterly defined by his complete fearfulness, but his ability to overcome it. So then obviously, Courage the Cowardly Dog, he's scared of fucking everything, but he still uses that as his primary drive to save other people. And I think it could be a heroic Yellow Lantern. But have you got another character you think would be a better fit?
When you said Cowardly Dog, my mind went to Cowardly Lion. The one from...
The Cowardly... But doesn't he get a heart? Doesn't he learn to not be a coward?
I mean, he does, but prior to that...
He could be... But I think Courage the Cowardly Dog is too much, though, because he's so scared of fucking everything. It's crazy, man.
Well, what about a character then who lives for fear?
Okay.
So what about Voldemort?
Voldemort. Yeah.
He's people look at him, they refuse to say his name
because
they're so scared.
That's pretty good. He's on the opposite end of the spectrum, isn't he? He's a character who lives to instill fear. Yeah. And he probably gets a huge hard on by the fact people are so terrified of him they refuse to speak his name. But I'm just gonna go out there and say, well, that's even more powerful, Shaggy. So who's more terrified of everything than fucking Shaggy? But then there's all the memes about him.
I think Shaggy's perfect.
0%
because he's scared of everything, but now everyone is also scared of him.
Yeah. He's both sides. He is the alpha and the omega. So we've got Shaggy. Next one. Let's go.
Perfect. Okay, next one. Blue Lantern.
That's Hope, isn't it?
Hope is.
There we go. Yeah. So I read too many comic books. So Hope, it's that again. It's another nebulously defined one. It's someone who either has immense reserves of hope or inspires it in others. So have you got anyone you can throw out there while I have a think?
I mean, I'm thinking Princess Leia.
Princess Leia.
Yeah, because all she does is talk about hope.
Yeah, it's literally all she does.
Every single time she appears, she talks about hope.
It's right.
And she's able to fly through space. That's pretty hopeful.
The thing is, though, if she had that ring, she wouldn't have died, because she would have been able to use it to obviously breathe in space. And just...
Well, she didn't die anyway. She force flew back into the ship.
Oh, shit, yeah, she's in the next movie, isn't she? It's a good job on that one, Disney. Fucking hell. So that's a strong one, but I'm going to, like I normally do, go completely out of left field with my example and say Tom Hanks' character from Castaway. Because he never gives up hope that he's going to be found. He's on that island for 3 fucking years, and he never once loses hope that he is going to get back to his wife and bang her senseless. Not to mention as well, he also delivers all the packages. That's a man who's I don't care if my only friend is a fucking like volleyball with hair. I'm going to get back to the, civilization and deliver these fucking packages. I'm going to earn my FedEx Employee of the Year trophy.
Do you choose him just because it's going to be really awkward for me to put his beard onto a picture?
That too, yeah. Also, I think he's a character who just never fucking gives. Like, it's all he ever does. Like, even when he's like just sat there for like 3 years, he's like, I'm just going to get out of here. I can do it, man. I'm fucking going to make it. Well, what's the next one then?
Indigo.
And that is compassion.
Compassion.
There it is. So the emotion of compassion, a character defined by their compassion for others. Well, I know they're not fictional characters. I'm going to say Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah, like, who loved animals? Well, he loved all of, the creatures of the earth so much. So much.
I mean, if you're going for a real person, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, fuck. The thing is, though, would Mr. Rogers be too compassionate to take the power for himself, and would he give it to Steve Irwin? Because he's so nice. I think he'd give it up. And then Bob Ross would be there painting it. There we go. So, you know what? I think it would go to Steve Irwin because Mr. Rogers would be too nice to take it. He'd let Steve have it so he could protect the animals. So what's the next one we've got on the list?
Love. Violet.
Violet, so the emotion of love. I'm going to go straight out there because I've got Harry Potter on my mind because we discussed Voldemort, and say Lily Potter.
Yeah.
So she sacrifices herself for her child out of an act of pure love, which is so strong it stops evil wizard Hitler from touching her baby. So that's a pretty fucking big act of love. Like, have you got any that you think can top that?
That's a pretty hard one to top.
Not to mention as well, who the fuck are you going to use for the Photoshop for this one? Because the actress has changed. So do you know what you can do as well in the Photoshop? Change the actress's eye colour so it's right. Match it with Daniel Radcliffe. Do what the filmmakers were too fucking lazy to do.
Wait, so I'm matching it with Radcliffe's
whatever you want to do.
eyes,
just make it fucking match, because it pisses me off somewhat chronic. Unless you can think of another character who shows more love than Lily Potter.
Oh God, I mean, I think there's lots of obviously characters from love stories or love movies.
Yeah, they're all boring.
I'm trying to think of one defined by the fact they're in love.
We can always go for unconditional love and name an animal. You could. It's there's
nothing.
nothing.
That's got to be some kind of dog.
Yeah, that's me. And which dog do we know loves everyone the most? What dog is the most lovable of all dogs? Beethoven. Beethoven could be.
You want me to put a dog head on the picture I presumably put behind you?
Well, we know animals can be lanterns. Like you don't have to be a humanoid to be a lantern.
True, yeah.
And Beethoven loves his family. What does Beethoven do to protect his family? A fucking whole lot. Beethoven protects his owner. He showed that. I think Beethoven's going to win it.
We were talking earlier about Joe from Santa Clarita. He's clearly got a lot of love for his wife.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
He's willing to do anything for her.
He does, including murder people. And I know how hard it's probably going to be to Photoshop a dog head in there. So you know what? Joel edges it out, so put him in. Have we got any more lanterns?
Oh God, there's black lanterns.
They're the ones that are defined by death. So that's Sean Bean.
No emotion.
Sean Bean.
You wanted Sean Bean in there. There he is.
Who's died more than Sean Bean? Who else will be the god of death in that universe but Sean Bean? So if memory serves, there is one more lantern colour and it's white. And I don't remember what it is. What does the list say?
The list says white is life.
Oh, well, I should have probably got that right. The opposite of death is life. Okay, so we need a fictional character or human who exists in this world who embodies the concept of life the most. And you got any? I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Well, I mean, my immediate instinct is to go from someone or something who came back from the dead.
Ah, I see.
Because obviously that's shown they've. I'm going to go like Aslan, because isn't he meant to be an interpretation of Jesus?
Yeah, Lion Jesus. Yeah. So you only go for Lion Jesus, and then maybe we could throw in Jon Snow or something, because he dies and then comes back to life, and obviously he's fighting for the lives of all the people.
He's fighting for the living.
Yeah, he's fighting for the living. He's literally fighting an army of dead people, so that makes sense. But I'm going to go, again, a bit off the wall, but I think it suits. I'm going to go for Steve McFadden, the actor who plays Phil Mitchell in EastEnders, because his career should have been dead 20 years ago, and he somehow kept it alive purely by going to fucking nightclubs and doing appearances.
When you said to me, Brad, say that again, kayfabe, say that again, I've got an idea, I wasn't expecting Steve McFadden.
Because I found out the other day, he still does appearances in fucking, in this vein then, just think of someone whose career should be dead, but is somehow still going. Because Steve McFadden's one of them.
What about Vin Diesel?
Oh, God, yeah, the guy who can't fucking act. Jesus, man. Or someone whose career died and they came back.
Someone who came back from nowhere.
Robert Downey Jr. did, didn't he? His career completely nosedived, and then he came back, and now he's Iron Man. That's how he did it. But I'm going to say Steve.
You know what? Well, why not?
Because I was the idea of him just stood in his pure Colgate white fucking lantern suit, just beyond everyone else.
But obviously the same. You want to bring you back to life?
Look at this pantheon of heroes right here.
I think step to one side.
Okay.
And I'll rearrange them so you've got like the full.
This
the full
pantheon of
spread.
heroes. Welcome to the new DC universe, folks. It can't be any worse than what they're actually doing.